Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the what's next on Rolly Romero, the former WBA Junior Welterweight Champion, following a comeback victory, a decision win. I forget even the guy's name that he beat on the Canelo undercard that took place on September 14th on Amazon and DAZN pay-per-view. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So, this one, Rolly Romero, you gotta, I personally don't think the guy's in the top 10 at 140. And 140 is such a deep-ass division. There's so many good fighters there. I struggle to give him even a top 15 spot. I really think Rolly Romero's overrated, but he's a guy people want to see fight, what he's done in the ring compared to how people view him, or how people want to see him, it's amazing to me, because he's in my opinion, he's overrated. I don't think he's that great at all, but people don't seem to care. He got knocked out against Gervonta Davis. He still fought and got into a big fight, got opportunities, against Barroso for the title last year, and this year with he loses to Isaac Cruz, and he gets back on a huge pay-per-view card on the Canelo undercard. So obviously people want to see this guy fight. So now the big question though is what's next for Rolly Romero following the victory, coming back, shaking off the loss to Isaac Cruz. What does he do to come back? So we'll run through the top 10 and see. We know he's a PBC guy. We know we know he's a PBC guy. We know he's ranked number 6 in the WBA. But that ranking right now, he's not even close to another title shot. But who knows who might give him an opportunity? So let's run through it. We start with Devin Haney. Haney is planning a comeback, but we don't know when and what and against who, because there was talks that him and Liam Paro were close to signing a fight, and that fight didn't happen. Paro's moving on with his mandatory against Richardson Hitchens next, so that's not an option. Haney and Rolly Romero would actually be a very highly built fight. I'm sure Turki Al-Sheikh could talk Al Heyman into PBC and allowing Rolly Romero to come back against Haney. It'd be a good option for Haney to shake off the rust, from losing to Ryan Garcia and the whole situation, but who knows? Right now, I have to say, not likely. Then there's Teofimo Lopez, the current WBO champion. Teo is awaiting his mandatory challenger, which is going to be decided in November between Jose Ramirez and Arnold Barbosa, I'm sorry. And, Top Rank working with the PBC. These two shit talkers right here, I could definitely see the fight happening, but are the two sides willing to come together and work out a deal? I have to say, lean towards the less likely. Then you got Jack Catterall. Catterall's fighting Prograis at the end of this month. I think Catterall's probably, Catterall's the favorite going in. I'm not going to give my prediction. But if Catterall beats Prograis, he's a DAZN Matchroom guy. I think it's a bad matchup for Rolly, so I don't see this one coming together. Then you got Isaac Cruz in a rematch. Not likely. Cruz is on a collision course with Jose Valenzuela in a rematch for the WBA title. I don't see Cruz and Romero making sense right now, so I don't see that one. Then you got IBF champion Liam Paro. Not likely. Paro's making his mandatory against Richardson Hitchens in December, and then focused on other things. He's a DAZN Matchroom guy as well. Then you got Alberto Puello, who's the current WBC champion. It'd be a makeable fight because they're both PBC guys, but Puello's got to fight in a mandatory against Sandor Martin, and then Gary Antoine Russell is after that. So I don't see Romero being in the mix there. Then you got veteran Josh Taylor. Another one that I'd like to see Taylor come back and shake off the rust against a big name, but Top Rank would have to work with the PBC for this one, and I just don't see that coming together, so I'm going to say no. Then you got former unified champ Jose Ramirez. Not likely. Ramirez is fighting Arnold Barbosa Jr. If victorious, he's lined up to fight Teofimo Lopez for the WBO belt. So I don't see these two guys working out a deal to fight each other. Then you got Sandor Martin. Well, as I said, he's challenging Alberto Puello for the WBC title, and even if he's victorious, he has to fight. He would have to fight against what's his name next, Gary Antoine Russell after that. So that means Martin and Puello wouldn't be likely. Then you got Jermaine Ortiz. Not likely, not a big name, and he's a top-ranked guy anyway, so I don't see that one coming together. Then there's Regis Prograis. Well, Prograis, big name, talks a lot of shit. If he beats Jack Catterall, he'd be sitting pretty, but the two sides would have to come together. It's not to say they wouldn't, but I'm just, right now, I have to lean towards the less likely for a couple reasons. One, Prograis's the underdog going in against Catterall, and two, you got Matchroom having to work out a deal with the PBC. Again, not to say that it can't happen, but I would have to lean towards the less likely right now. Then there's Gary Antoine Russell, you know, which will be an all PBC bout. Russell's got to wait around anyways for what's his name? He's got to wait around for Puello. He's got to wait around for Puello and Martin. So maybe these two sides could come together, but I don't think Rolly would want to fight a guy like Gary Antoine Russell next. Maybe he could be talked into it by the PBC, but I'm leaning towards the less likely that this one could happen. Then there's a rematch with Ismael Barroso. Not likely. Barroso just lost to Andy Hiroka over in Japan, so I don't think Barroso and him, he never wanted to fight him again anyways, so I don't think him and Rolly would come together. Then you got Arnold Barboza. Again, he's fighting Jose Ramirez, and if he's victorious, he's likely getting a title shot after that. Gustavo Lemos is taking on Keyshawn Davis next, so not likely there. Richardson Hitchens has his next fight good to go against Liam Paro for the IBF title, so not likely there. Kenneth Sims, highly ranked in the WBA, maybe, but I don't think Rolly would want to fight a guy like Kenneth Sims because you have to, again, cross the street, and Kenneth Sims is a DAZN guy. Nestor Bravo's ranked highly in the WBA. That might be an option. Dalton Smith coming off a big win. Jose Valenzuela, the new WBA champion, he's fighting Isaac Cruz. So it's really kind of like up in the air on what happens with Rolly Romero. He could pretty much fight whoever he wants. I think if you're looking at big names, you know, top 10 guys, I would really like to see like the thing with Teofimo Lopez. I think that's a fight that could be put together quickly and probably get done for the WBO belt. Because Lopez is not technically in mandatory mode, but after next month, he will be with the winner of Ramirez and Arnold Barboza, but he's not right now. You know, other than that, outside the top 10 to the top 15, I don't see a lot of likely matchups for Rolly Romero. But Romero, I mean, he can get good fighters to fight him because he's got a name, he's got an appeal, and he also is looking very, very beatable. So he's not a world beater at all. I mean, he's looking like a guy that has a big name you can make a good amount of money against, and you got a good chance of beating him. So I'm sure there's suitors for a guy like Rolly Romero and the PBC, but they got to pick the right guy. So there's that. And then, to be honest, I really wouldn't be surprised if he returns at the end of the year on the Tank Davis undercard, or maybe at the beginning of the year on the David Benavidez undercard, and just fights another so-so guy, you know, to stay busy and shake off the loss to Isaac Cruz from this year. So we'll see what happens, but that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on Rolly Romero, the former WBA Junior Welterweight Champion, following a comeback, shake off the loss, decision victory on the Canelo versus Berlanga undercard on pay-per-view. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing, and you've been hit with the truth.